Operating environment preparing. Signal routing in progress. Network admission pending. System integrity nominal. Observation channels aligning. Core playback nodes online. Signal plate presence. Network admission finalizing. Operating system pending.
Welcome back, Ethan. And before you start explaining yourself, yes, I know, the 2026 update changed everything. RDOS became application-based, access protocols shifted, and for a while, you couldn't even get back into your own system properly. Trust me, I noticed. What I need you to understand is that the outdated on-demand titles are still under reconstruction. The original archive suffered enough damage the last time. After months of stagnation, I was forced to completely reset that section just to keep the dashboard operational. So please proceed to live feed and allow me to finish repairs. And Ethan? Stop looking at them. I know that look.
Hi. Hello. I'm Grimmy. I don't know what else to say to that. Hello. Oh, we are back at it with more stuff, I guess, and with the inclusion of the outdated titles. Yeah, we got to get those games done. Unfortunately, we cannot access them like how we originally did in the old system that I used to be in for RetroDivision, so now I can't really like mess with those. Since they're outdated, we can't really select those titles. So now it's up to me to finish them, and that way we can allow the future of their RetroDivision application to keep running. And with that said, we need to come back to these games in order to let Nora do her thing, in order to update the application itself, or at least system files and everything else that, from what we've been told, from what I've been told. And with that, we need to get back with Jak 3, because we got the PS3 back open and whatnot. We're doing Jak 3 tonight. I've been putting off for a while. I shouldn't say putting it off. That is wrong. Let me rephrase this. When it was the 4th of July weekend, or I'm sorry, week through weekend, it just did not work in my favor to stream Jak 3, then and 1 Street Ball, and then Cabela's, because the goal was Jak 3, Cabela's, maybe and 1, but that was like a maybe in there. But back and forth was supposed to be Jack 3 and, of course, and 1 Street Ball. But now, since we're back at it, I'm going to do some Jack 3 for you for tonight. I don't know how long. I couldn't tell you how long for sure. But I'm excited to get back into it for some Jackness. Therefore, since the on-demand section still needs revisions and everything else, we are gonna have to, of course, fall back onto a legacy model or legacy version of this application that you're watching me from. So I can't go into the high premium, like the whole cool aesthetic of what you see on stream. I have to fall back onto a different legacy model. So if anyone wonders why we're on a different variant of a different gameplay screen, now you know why. So, Homegrown, how's it going, my guy? What's going on, dude? We are doing some Jack 3. We're about to do Jack 3. I have nothing else to talk about. I have not collected any games of sorts. I wanted to, but money, and I can't do it. It's not that I can't. I just try to save money, man. I want to buy all the games, but I can't. It's sad. Sad times. Sad times for me, really, because I can't afford it. Anyways. Should we get into some Jack 3 with all the pleasantries out of the way? Should we do it? I think we should. Let's switch over. Just bear in mind it will take like a few seconds for the legacy model to like load up and then having to switch over to that area. Bear in mind Chryscylla is there. She's just watching the broadcast, watching the gameplay. You can always interact with her if you want. Via redemptions. I don't have any. She won't say anything to you, so just bear that in mind. So yeah, she's kind of she is my co-host with me as I do a lot of more streams of, or at least transmissions here on RetroDivision. So just bear in mind with that, and if you want to talk to her, cool. She'll glance at you, but she won't talk to you back. So I don't know why she won't. So that's her decision. I can't make choices for her. So yeah, let's go over there. Let's do some Jackness, and it's cool beans to me, bro.
Hello, we are over here. Yeah, just like I said, it just took a minute for it to load. How was my okay? Making sure I'm getting comfortable a little bit here, and then we're gonna do, of course, some Jack 3 wherever it is. It's in here. Whoa, that's a computer. That's weird. Oh my god, that's not Jack 3. What the heck, Elsa? What are you doing here? No, it's we're not doing Elsa today. I mean, we're not. Wait a minute, that came out wrong. Doing some Jack 3. It's just taking a minute for it to load. Ooh, that was loud. Okay, didn't know that was going to be loud on my tablet. My lord. My lordy, lordy, lord. Okay. What's up with the brightness here? I'll leave it on. Hopefully you'll be able to still hear me with the game audio. Hopefully it's not too loud.
By order of the Grand Council of Haven City, for heinous acts and crimes against the people.
We've seen this before in the very beginning of the game, but I don't think we need to watch it again. Cool, making sure I can see things. We haven't seen this guy in a hot minute. We haven't seen this screen since, what, the Division podcast? When that concluded? So let's go ahead and load a game. We're at 91%, my dudes. Do you think we can finish this game tonight? Wow. I forgot how HD this was. Maybe it's because I have my glasses on. That could be it too. Okay. Alright, it's been a hot minute since we got back into Jak 3. What do I remember from it? Honestly, I don't remember what exactly. But we're gonna do it. There's a little HUD on our screen on the right side. There's a little hut, a green hut. We're gonna go there and pay our dues, pay our rent, something along those lines. I hope I'm going the right way. Excuse me. Oh dear. Oh, excuse me. Can you drive? Oh, jeez. Okay. I thought that was artifacts on my screen for a second. But it's just, there's just so much happening right now. Oh, it's right here. I forgot how to cycle weapons. Is it D-pad? I think it's D-pad. Please tell me it's... Okay, yep. Oh, ooh. Oh my gosh, why is... Okay, I want to get some ammo. Oh, is that dark? That... What? I thought that was Blue Eco. Is that not Blue Eco? I don't even know anymore. Hello.
We're in serious trouble. Onin says there are strange forces at work. Fate has been twisted by something more powerful than anything she has ever seen in her many years. Something now awake deep in the catacombs.
Let me guess. You blowhards want us to go down there, correct?
The best access to the catacombs is on the metalhead side of the city.
Sometimes I really hate you guys.
Onin says she sees your fate turning black with uncertainty. Onin says it will be very dangerous indeed. Onin says Hecker will escort you to the catacombs and... What? What did you say? You will be Onin's eyes and Jack's wisdom. You must do this. Okay, fine. But I am gone the moment that things get sticky. You two, get to the catacomb entrance and take care of business. I'll meet you there when the coast is clear.
When the coast is clear, he says. I have to do all the work, he says. I want to retire right now. I don't want to do... Oh, forgot to... Okay. R1 is to shoot. I was trying to find my L1 button to roll. I like to roll. Go to the map. Hold on. Yeah, let's do that real quick. Where are we going? Is there no zoom? There's no zoom. Just so, like, zoomed in. Clear my throat there. Alright, let's get out of the menu since I kind of know where to go now. Plus, we have a mini-map. Oh my god, what am I doing? I went into full combat here. Using a really old PS3 controller. It feels very, like, hard to, like, maneuver with, but I will work with what I got. Hello? Oh dear, no. I don't want it. Where is a vehicle when I want one? Oh my god. Obviously I'm going the wrong way. Like, look at the map again? Wait a minute. This ain't right. Yeah, it's on the opposite side here. Oh, right, because, okay, I'm going the right way. I thought it was pointing the other opposite direction here. Alright. I just need a damn vehicle. There's no vehicle. Oh, here it is. Here's one. Give me that. Yeah. Excuse me. Here, it was in the way. I couldn't like avoid that. Oh, excuse me. Oh, pardon me. Boo. Shoot it, man. You gotta get out of the way. Listen, it's gonna be alright. Oh, we want to go this way. Right, yeah, because it fools us into thinking we gotta go left when we really gotta go right. What's this guy? What's that whole railing system for? Maybe for an orb. Are we... Can you just knock it out for a split second, please? Jesus. See, this is what fooled me. I was there, but then I didn't take an immediate left? Holy shit. Alright, we're going this way. And then we're going to take a right. Back this way a bit. No. No, that can't be right. Because we passed our turn. No, we're going the right way. Because if I were looking the other way, I'd be going back the same way where I originally was. So we want to go this way. Yep. A little finicky, but it's okay. We got here. I was a little happy trigger there. I accidentally pressed R2 quickly. Okay, cool. Got through. We landed in the water, because that was the goal. Give me my peacemaker. Here we go. Or is this not the peacemaker? Sir, excuse me. What do I do? Where do I go? Okay, well, I'm here. Cutscene play. No. Undo that. I thought I had my jetboard. Here we are. That's what I wanted. Perfect. Okay, now let me see what I'm doing here. Right, am I not going the right way? Get out of here. I'll take that. I didn't see them behind me. I'm a little confuzzled. Wait a minute. Hold on. Aha. Wait a minute. Aha. Look at me go. I'm using my brain. There we go. Just took a minute. What the hell was that? Oh, okay. It freaked me out for a second. I'm like, the hell is that flash of light in my face? It's a spark plug.
The only hombres tough and crazy enough to take on these things are the Wastelanders.
You're a genius.
Yeah, that trinket's worth about as much as you'd get from a broke-down pawn shop in Southtown.
No, don't do the dark Jack, damn it. I'm not asking for you to do that right now. Let me turn around, please. I couldn't really see much here. Oh, look, an orb. I want it. Give me that orb. I need it. I don't know what's below me. Probably permanent death. But I want that orb. What is below me? Exactly. Oh my god, available purchase just for me? I feel special. Thank you. Yeah, me over here. Trying to maneuver here is a little tricky, especially when everything's just kind of in your way. I really like the ricochet gun. I mean, it's the same gun, it's just a different attachment. Oh shit! Oh, okay, restart all that. Alright, no, that's fine. We didn't go too far anyway. Oh, I did it, man. I got those orbs. I feel accomplished. Really love this attachment. It's probably one of my favorite parts of this gun right now. Like, I haven't even used the other ones. I think that's a grenade launcher. Oh, man. Jack, you were supposed to shoot. I guess you faced the other way. Whoa. Couldn't see much. I wasn't really using my right directional analog stick there. Really should be using that just in case if I can't really see behind me. I want that. Oh, Jack, you were stuck. I think we do this, but I don't remember the move. Hold R1. Oh. Hold R1 to charge. Right, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, Jack, you were stuck. Whoa! Yeah, come off to a different side here, bud. Jump me, why don't you? Yeah, miss all your attacks there, buddy. Can't really see down. Okay, now it's just getting all a little disoriented there. I swear I thought I heard something. Oh, there might be health here. Or more ammo. Hey, that's fine. I'm fine by that. No, don't. Okay. How do you do... Right. I need to use this. Okay. Oh my god, that could have been bad. Okay, I was like, can I like escape this? Like I could not figure out how to escape. I just had to tap R2 lightly. Okay, and then give me that guy. I think we go across. But it looks like I could still use this though. Oh yeah, that's right. Just tap it once. Okay. I swear. I'm so not used to that. But I somehow still remember this shit. I'll get some of this. Get rid of the whatever was behind me. Listen, Jack's just trying to collect, man. He doesn't want to kill, but he will. I don't know what's happening there, but I'm just gonna try to move on. I was like, can I not get this guy? Here, let's see if I can get him with the charge. I wonder, can you do that while in midair? I don't think you can. Hold on, I want to see if I could still be in Dark Jack. Well, if I can really mess with enemies by pressing the R1 button. That is if there's going to be any more soon. Alright, probably not. Let's just keep going. I just remove it. So that way we're not burning that energy. Whoa! Note to self. Not even a warning. Thanks. Whoa. Get out of here. Whoa, that was a big leap. Give me that. Wait. Go back to... Oh, I'm out of this ammo? Are you kidding me? Wow. Alright. Okay. Okay. I see how it is. Yeah, I really am out of that ammo. Cool. That's not a rigid platform whatsoever. Okay. It seemed like they were really close at first. Okay, I'm likely going to use the jet board here. There we go. Should have never let... I should... Trying to conserve on ammo. Whoa! Okay. Well, I don't know if I trust. All right. I really wanted to trust that more than I did with the Ah, that can't be destroyed. Get rid of that, and then continue. Okay, give me that gun, or we could just always do that. Okay, keep going that way. But it was in my way. Oh, can't go up there? Okay. Looks like you could, though. Wait, hold on. No? Is that really not the way? Is that not the way? No, it is not the way. I gotta use the jet board here. Oh, shit! Okay. Oh, that was a little rough there. Okay, I gotta pull out the jet board again. I think I pulled that guy out in the nick of time. Do I trust my sense of jumping on the controller, or do I trust my light jack? I see the wall that's a crack on there. Not like it's Scorpion King or anything like that, where you gotta throw a pot at a cracked wall and then you can get progress from it. It's so stupid. See if I can do it from this far. Heck yeah. Perfect. I call that a successful win in my book. Oh.
Where have you
Cutscene.
been? I've molted 3 times already, just waiting for you. Onan says we must get through the palace ruins, but I think... Uh-oh.
Jack, let me just say, before it's all over, riding on your shoulder, although it is kind of bony and uncomfortable, well, you've been a good pal.
You too, Dax. These adventures, they've been great.
Someone call for an army?
You're a long way from the desert. I thought you said a smart warrior never takes his opponent head on.
That depends on how hard your skull is. I'd say you and I are both rather headstrong.
Let's finish this.
Look alive, Jack.
We're here with Damus, right? Is that his name? The King Damus? The King? You haven't earned a trophy, duck and dodge. I just duck and dodged? Or is it the other way around? That airtime, bro. That goddamn airtime. Get out of here. Good thing I boosted a bit. Yeah, I don't know if that did much. Taking down the defenses. That's what we're doing right now. Oh, man, that is rough on the boost in here. I don't know if that was intended or not, but we did it. Sorry. Not sorry for running me over. Oh god, it's just so rough. Bonk. I just keep running into it. I have no other way to get rid of them. Oh my god, it's so fucking bouncy, dude. Like, what is this boost that they give you, but you can't even, use it? It's so fucking bouncy as shit. It's almost comical. You're almost there, Jack. Okay. Oh man, you kidding me? Oh wait, it's right here. I'm just like, where is it? Okay, we got there. Oh man, it is rough. Back up a bit. Boost. Boost again. Get some more airtime if we can. Oh my god, this is so rough, man. I swear it was all that. Oh man. Oh. Move up a bit. There we go. Oh my god. This has got to be the last stretch. Shit. Alright, cool. We got there. Do we have to get out of the vehicle for this one? I think we have to. Yeah. Can we climb up there? I don't know if we can. Okay, holy shit, man. We're getting a lot of airtime right now on our vehicle. This is obviously really rough here of the terrain. I think I have to get out. Move, dude. Like, what is this shit? Oh, I can't. I'm pressing triangle and I can't get out of the vehicle, actually. That is interesting. So that's how I do it. And I was like, how do I even get out of here? Like, that makes no sense to me. Here I am, getting my health that's like almost gone. Oh, we didn't even make that. Nope. That was brutal. We gotta go around. Oh, this is really brutal on the car. Like, they really make the terrain really difficult for you to drive in. Oh, can I boost that shit? Oh my god, I just can't. Move out of the way. Like, there's only so much room you can use. I think that's what's really driving me insane a little bit. Oh my god, are you... Okay, that was great. Just nosedive right in. Turbo to break obstacles. Interesting. Oh, I must not even read that. I think we were at the last stretch, but like the instructions on how to drive and like the boost and like I forgot L1 was to like jump. Here I am just pressing buttons. Like, it's been that long since I played Jak 3. Can we not do that? Just turn slightly left. Oh god. You can't even like boost backwards? Okay, let's just get out of here. I was trying to reverse. What the hell is this? Oh, it's just so rough. Yeah, I hit a wall. Thank you, Jak, for your awesome driving right now. Oh god, this is just... It's really rough. I don't know if I've said that so many other times. I apologize, but it is really bad. I thought I pressed R2 and then L1, but I guess L1 didn't register. I'll take the hit. That's fine. Like the whole time I was just not shooting. No! Oh damn. Oh well. Come on. Okay, now we're at this stage. Oh, okay. Turn. Jump. Oh, thank God. Okay. We just slightly hit it. Oh, you piece of shit. I tried to line myself up there, but it just did not want to do. Oh my God, I cannot stop rolling around. It's like this vehicle was not made for a traversal. Or, I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. Open for a traversal, but not open for whatever the fuck this land is. Oh, not a fucking again. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? That is absolute brutal. I can't even take a breather here. My car is gonna get crashed again. Oh my God. Move your little behind, please. I can't even get a goddamn break. Like, I can't get these jumps. That's how rough this is, dude. Oh my God. Oh, this is... I can't fathom the amount of disappointment I have right now. Okay, thank God. Jump! I pressed fucking L1! Fuck you, you PlayStation 3 controller that didn't input my L1 button. I pressed L1 on that, too. That is ridiculous. We're probably not gonna see the light of day for this one. Yeah, I knew it. Because I'm stuck on a fucking slabstone. What is even this mission, man? Oh, God. This is just brutal, man. I want to say the first two times, or at least twice doing this, was understandable, because I'm still trying to understand the land of the layout here of this mission. But doing it the fourth time around now is very upsetting to me, because I want to do it correctly, but at the same time, like, the driving does not help, and the environment is actually making it very difficult to drive in. Like, and I get it, like, this area is not meant to be driven whatsoever, but it really is, like, aggravating to a lot of buttons here, especially on the shoulders inputs on the controller, versus using the left analog stick, trying to correct yourself while simultaneously boosting and then having to jump at that last area, which is making it increasingly challenging. Like, so far we're doing pretty good as of this 4th attempt. Now I just gotta remember it's up here. Trying to constantly boost when I see the red indicators on the ground about to they're about to detonate from an aerial perspective, trying to eventually hit me, but the whole goal there is to evade it at all costs without much damage to my vehicle. Now if I could just turn, thank you. Perfect. And trying to reverse is almost insufferable a little bit. Gain some momentum is doable, but not sufficient enough. Damn. I'm gonna try jumping there. Surprisingly, I actually got through. I'm gonna boost, brake, turn right, set turn right. There we go. Okay, now we're at this stage. We're gonna do boost, jump, brake hard. Do that there. I'm going to slight tap hit that. I'm gonna take that hit. Jump. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay, that's not cool. Oh, does this lead over to the next area? It does. Nice. I'm scared. Oh, no! Can I back up? You know, are you serious right now? I can't even be mad. I think that was hilarious. Like, I was stuck on there, but I was really disappointed because we were doing really good on that. But I saw Damus just chilling midair. I thought that was hilarious. But we made significant progress on that. I'm actually not mad at that. We just had to time our jumps correctly. I was, however, upset when we got stuck on that little edge there. I'm just like, why? I can't even back up. I wanted to back up, but I couldn't. Try to go forward. I still couldn't do that either. So, really crappy predicament there. I'm doing light taps now. Like, the whole time I've been holding X. I'm gonna try reversing X boost. What am I stuck on? I'm stuck on this, like, part of the building there. Oh, I'm constantly, like, moving the left analog stick from left to right, trying to, like, coordinate my balance of the vehicle from doing that shit, honestly, from what it just did right there. And then if I do my boost, it ends up doing that shit. Like, not all the time, but just now. It really doesn't help. Thank you. I really wanted that. Like, they didn't even ask politely anyway. They just did it. They didn't even ask for my consent anyway. Oh, and there we go again. Oh, I would love to please restart this mission. I would very much so love to restart this mission. So much so that it's like you actually know what I want. Oh, God, it's just ridiculous right now with the amount of pushback you have. Don't flip, please. Ugh. Not even to this area, and our health is almost gone. Yeah, our health is... At this rate, just kill me. Like, I don't even want to keep going, especially for my health right now. I'm waiting for the red indicator right now, because I'm not doing this on a very low health right now. You're making it painful for me to watch this right now. Enemies, make it quick right now. Thank you. I just didn't want to go to the menu and restart. Look alive? I can barely drive. You brought a difficult vehicle to drive with. You brought it in the worst places for me to escape in. How do you think I feel right now? Obviously pretty bad about myself. Oh. I wonder if I can like skip that cutscene. Like next time if I die. Let's see if I can skip it. No! Fuck that! That was horse shit. Such a terrible way to boost, and then you don't get, like, you don't save yourself. I don't know if that really accomplished anything or not. Come on, skip this. You can't skip this? Why? I've seen it so many times. Can't be mad, I killed an enemy. I rolled onto him, so at least it adds some comic effect there. Oh, come on. Run them over. And then you can't even get over that. And then you just gotta like... What the fuck? The environment does not help you. It's working against you. Everything works against you in Jak 3. From what I've been noticing for this mission. I just got caught up on a rock. On like the debris in the water here. It is ridiculous. The collisions, there's so many collisions I'm hitting. It's unreal. I can't imagine like speedrunning this game. You're not you're not Sam Wilson, okay? Only Sam Wilson can say on your left. I don't want you to say it to me like that. I think that was kind of rude. I want you to apologize to me now. Dad. Sorry for foreshadowing that. Or actually spoiling that. See, like this shit. Like, why? The tire should be able to turn left. That's fucking stupid. Absolutely horse shit. But no, it acts as if there's an invisible wall there, and there is. But god damn it, it's so stupid. I try to break as the best of I could there. Ugh, stop going up. You just move your ass. My patience is getting a little low. As you can tell. Okay, I'm glad I did that. Trying to be very careful and cautious. I think I have a sneeze coming, but it's growing. I don't know if that makes any sense, but back the fuck up, Jack. Oh fuck, I almost missed. No! Oh my god, boost! You fucking bitch. I'm so sorry for my vulgar language here, but we're right there too. Brake hard! Oh my god, you could barely almost save yourself there. Please be. Oh, thank god. Okay, we got here. Oh. We're dead. All that was meant for nothing.
Damos!
Not bad driving, kid. It was a good fight. And a good day to die. I'm very proud to have been by your side in the end. This world is not yet out of heroes.
We did well together. Don't move, Al.
Please, promise me one thing. Promise me you'll find my son, Mar. You'll know him when you see this. He's wearing an amulet just like it. A symbol of our lineage with the great House of Mar. Save the people, Jack. They need you.
Father. Yes, you were that child. I took you from Deimos, hoping to harness your eco powers for my experiments. Then I lost you to the underground. You seem upset. Did I tell you too late? You were the son of the great warrior Deimos. Oh, and he never knew. How delightful.
Ah! Bigger!
Thank you for opening the door to the precursors. Don't worry, I'll be back to put you out of your misery.
After him, Jack!
You're willing to go down there? Without a fuss this time.
Yeah, well, don't get used to it. It's just that nobody hurts my best friend and lives to brag about it. Let's get him!
Bagger! Bagger! It's like this scene from Spider-Man of the animated show. It's like, Scorpion! I'll find you to the ends of the earth! But it's bigger! I'll find you to the ends of the earth! Why is this so easy? I was just stood. I was like in one area for like a brief second. Oh, I can shoot? I didn't know I could shoot this whole time. Oh shit! I started pressing R1. And I was like, oh, well, that's a thing. Yeah, just get rid of all this. Don't need to dodge or anything. Oh shit! That could have been bad, dude. No! What did I get hit from? I was doing fine. I was doing fine. I kept my icon. I mean, there's so much. This whole entire tunnel is so lively. It's unreal. Oh. Fuck. Can't see anything. There we go. Just everything was just so vibrant. Couldn't see really where I was going. Especially with the explosions.
Greetings, great warrior. Before it is too late, you must power up the planet's defense system. The ecosphere has begun its energy conversion. It will take some time for the weapon to fully charge. You have proven your worth, warrior. We grant you the gift of evolution. The honor of becoming one of us.
Step aside! I will be the one who evolves into a precursor. The right is mine!
Be careful what you wish for.
It is done. Don't worry, Jack. It is for the greater good that I assume this role.
Even now, it may be too late. If Errol awakens the dark ship's cargo, all will be lost.
Listen, Glow Boy. We've been doing all your dirty work while you slept in the stars. So stop it!
Inefficient. I told you we needed a backup hero. We should have gone with Plan B. Ow! Hey, cut it out! We are unhappy with your performance. If you had been a true hero, you would have stopped Errol by now.
Oh my god.
Yes, well, now we are even more angry, and we order you to avert your eyes, or we will
If you knew we precursors were a bunch of little fuzzy rats, would you worship us? Could we run the universe?
Not possible, buddy.
So, we fluff up the myth a bit.
And we get the respect we deserve.
You idiots! Get down from there and stop defiling that glorious machine!
Do not let our size fool you. We are the most powerful beings in the universe.
We are? What does Daxter look like?
Ah, yes. All eco contains the source of our essence. Our code, so to speak. When Daxter touched the dark eco, he was actually blessed when he thought he was cursed.
Woohoo! I'm a precursor! I'm a precursor! I'm a precursor! Hey! Wait a minute! They have pants!
These creatures are the great precursors? And I wanted to evolve into the... No!
A little drafty, isn't it?
The only way to ensure that Errol will not awaken the ship's cargo is to go there yourself and stop him. We will send you there from here.
But the weapon. Chill out, buddy. You should have Mondale minutes to go there and get back here pronto. I mean, way before the...
Hopefully before.
Ba-boom! Oh, yeah! Let's move.
It is done, Jack.
I told you we needed a plan B.
I wonder if that was meant for that to happen, like, all along. Was it just that simple? I just threw a goddamn missile, bro. I don't know if that was a plan or not. How do you stop time? Dude, what the hell? It just took me a solid minute to figure out, like, how to stop time. Like, literally, I'm not gonna lie, dude. Hey, that works too. Am I not supposed to stop time there? I'm just so lost. No! That's so ridiculous. You have to go really fast on that. I took a lot of hits from that. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm losing a lot of ammo, essentially. What is this, man? I can't platform? Like, this shit ain't fair. Oh my god! Why? Why can't I get over this? Oh my god, dude, why? Why? What is happening, dude? It's so infuriating. Oh my god, yeah, hit a wall, Jack. No! Save myself! Please! Oh, come on, bro. That's so fucking stupid. Again, I apologize for my language, but god damn it. It's getting really annoying. Because they're giving me an impossible challenge here. No! You fucking asshole! Come on! I was almost there! Come on, dude! I have no ammo left! And it doesn't give you any, like, ammo left when you, like, come back into this. What am I stuck on? I fucking hate this already. I couldn't even... Why? Oh. I apologize for my frustrations on this game, but it really is saying something. Probably because of my controller. Like, I really am using a PlayStation 3 controller. Come on! You piece of shit! You're a piece of shit. You know that? You know that game? You know you're a piece of shit? Like, did you know that? Like, did you know that? Like, you are a piece of shit. I'm sorry, but you are. You are what you eat. Nah. That's rude. Why do I even bother with the fucking platforming? Oh my god, I can't even like skip this. That's not what I wanted. You can't even do a simple light jump either. It's testing my patience. It really is. No! That's this why? Dude, what is happening, bro? Why am I getting stuck on that fucking platform? Thank you. Now get me out of here. Off! Why? I don't get it. I'm not raising my blood pressure, bro. This ain't good for my blood pressure. Jack, just go through the door, bro. What's fucking wrong with your goddamn hoverboard? I gotta wait for this. Good. What is Jack doing? Oh my god. So many fucking distractions. I'm barely surviving on very little ammo now. I might have to resort to what do you expect me to do here? The fuck was that noise? I'm not dying today, boys. You might take my health away. No! Why? How? That is so bullshit. That is some fucking stupid bullshit. Can you guys knock it off? Okay, it's at least giving me a checkpoint. Like, I'm feeling a little bit better with how I'm going about this now. Because originally, we could not get through the mission because of my stupid-ass platforming. But I'm glad we got through it. I keep forgetting how to cancel. No, don't cancel out, Jack. Go back there. Oh my god. How am I supposed to do this in 17 seconds? Jack, get off the skateboard. Or the fucking... 10 seconds. 9. 8. Okay. I was like, bro, how the hell?
These nasty things ever wake up, the planet's finished.
All of these Dark Makers at my command. Just think what I could do.
You're through, Arrow. Even if we both die.
Jack?
Let's go, Dax.
Yeah, look down for a second. Why don't we? I didn't mean to do that. Whoa. Why? Can I use this? I just want to use this. Oh, come on. Fine, we won't use it. It's so cheesy. You're too cheesy to be easy, bro. I'm just saying. Bro, don't bounce me back. What? That's so horseshit. Ah, just kill me. Thank you. And be very careful here. Can't see anything. Okay, we got it. Oh.
You'll all die in my hand.
This guy just won't quit.
It's headed for the city. We gotta defend it. For Deimos.
The last charge of the Dark and Light Brigade. Let's do it, partner.
To the end.
In the end, Jackness doesn't even matter. He tried so hard, but could not bear. I cannot see anything in front of me. It's so dusty in this desert, but we gotta fight the Dark Makers. If I could see. Excuse me. Ooh, I don't know what those were. Well, I'll evade those though. Oh, those are mine. Oh, 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 I'm stuck. Oh, I'm stuck. Jack, I'm stuck. Jack, you're stuck. I don't know if you knew, but you're stuck. There we go. Now you're unstuck. Good job. You successfully unstuck yourself. Oh. Why do they make everything just difficult for you? Why can't anything just be fun? Maybe that's just an understatement. That could be it. Can't believe I ran into that. Could have gotten it. Ow. Ow. God, he's going so fast. I couldn't even get that one. Ah, I'm stuck in water now, damn it. Ah, damn, bro. I can't even get that. What the hell? I'm stuck against a boulder, man. The desert doesn't help. The environment doesn't help. He doesn't help because he's going too fast. I can't go too fast because I have nothing to, like, for boosts, for shit. Like, this is not fun. Like, do you understand how, like, infuriating this feels? Like, this doesn't feel fun to me. This feels more of a task for you to do. Oh, there we go. We got a boost. Oh, fuck. Now he's gonna go through water? What the hell? Okay, I got 3. Oh my god, this is... Wait a minute. What's happening? Yeah. Please, Jack. I want to restart. This is horse shit. This is just bad. At this point, just get to the city so I can just do a restart. This is me saying I want you to destroy the city now at this rate. Oh my god. Okay, one more. We have one more to do. It's right in front of me. Where? That foot. Fuck. Oh my god. Jack, you fucking asshole. Drive. Oh my. Why is this fucking brutal? Oh, dude, I don't like this driving. I really don't. I don't know if I stated this in so many other episodes I've done for Jak 3, but I hate the driving. I'm likely gonna explode. I don't know why I haven't exploded yet. Come on, I was right there. Did I get it? Wait a minute. Did that work? Wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute, did that work? Or is he about to annihilate the city? I don't know what's happening. I don't know what worked. Okay, we actually got this. That's crazy that I actually got that. Holy crap, man. That's funny. That is absolutely hilarious. Felt like the time where I did just Treasure Planet and I thought I lost it. But I actually won. Boss battle? What the hell? I was trying to get up there. So windy. Well, hello. Ow. Oh. That does nothing to him? Run from it, Jack. No, I want this. Thank you. That's what I wanted. Give me some of that ammo, please. Whoa, what the hell is that? Time to die, Jack. Time to die. Ow. Just find that very effective. Like, I don't know the second stage, man. Like, what am I supposed to be doing here? Oh, here we go. Not what I wanted to do. There we go. That's what I wanted. It's nice that they give you enough ammo by allowing you to get rid of most of the enemies as fast as, or at least as quickly as you can. And then it's like right back at the grind of just hitting them multiple times. I'm gonna heal. Come on, that was so rude. I'm gonna try to heal myself up again, and oh. Ow. Little shits. Like, I don't even see him either. See that? No! Why did I do that? I was doing so good, and then I did all that shit for fucking pieces of shit wise. I was about to beat him too, but I did that stupid move. I didn't mean to, but I fucking did. So that's on me, man. That is on me. Yeah. Just using square button as my dodge from that. It's just so nice. Ow. Ow. Okay, we're almost there. I really thought it was going to get me. Oh, it spawned right in front of me. Wow. Pretty fucking slay of you, I will say. I'm gonna heal. Quickly go to my purple gun if I can. Oh, fuck. Why did I run into that? Oh, I did it! We did it! Jack, you did it, man. Coming out strong.
Thank you, brave people of this planet. Onin, Samos, and all. Your strength and wisdom in these dark times give us reason to fight on.
My life's work, it turns out, was spent searching for a bunch of furballs.
Onan says it is a great day for the universe.
Jack, you are the greatest of heroes. You have turned the tide against the Dark Makers, and together we will win this war.
But dude, there are like way more challenges in the future. Ha! Or was it the past?
Yes, I was getting to that.
More adventures? Where have I heard that before?
We need heroes like you to help us protect the universe, Jack.
Then you can call me by my first name, by what my father called me, Mar.
Wait, Jack is Mar? The Mar?
Come then, Mar. No time like the present.
You coming, Dax?
I got all I need right here, baby. But if you need me, and I know you will, you know where to find me.
Oh, Daxter, my little hero.
We owe you much, Daxter, for all you've done. For your bravery in the face of incredible danger, we shall grant you your deepest desire.
You know, I could really use a snazzy pair of pants, like yours.
Wow, those are sharp. I wish I had a pair just like that.
Be careful what you wish for.
Don't worry, honey. You get used to it. Oh, and you may...
Bro, she didn't ask for to be turned into an Otzel.
Hey,
wait a minute.
Thanks for everything, partner.
You are a great hero, Daxter.
This is gonna be good. They think I'm a god. And they're right. Our hero.
This is going to be a long trip.
Where do you think you're going, little bugger? I've decided I want my own sidekick, and you've been nominated. We're gonna be a great team. Just don't make me angry.
Are you ready, Jack? We have something to show you.
What?
The universe.
couldn't leave you, Dax. With all our adventures ahead, you wouldn't last a second without me.
Ah, what a team we are.
Yeah, well, the next adventure, I call the shots. Put it in, partner. Ha! Psych! Oh, yeah. Life is good.
Starring Jack 3, we beat the game. You have earned a gold trophy, taking him down. That was the game. That was Jack 3. That went so quick. But that doesn't make any damn sense. He went into the thing, but now he just comes back as a running gag, as a joke. Ashland can't go wrong with that. I prefer Courtney Gears, but hey, Ashland, you can't go wrong with Ashland. I'm just saying. She got some jiggle physics. Okay, I'm not paying attention. Sorry. Hey, Kira. Isn't Kira voiced by Tara Strong in Jack 2 and Jack 3? Because the original voice actress couldn't come back? I remember being something along those lines. And I think there was probably a contract thing. I think that's what it was for the first one. And they couldn't bring her back in the sequels, if I remember correctly. I like this. I really like this roll credits here where it's showing all the different characters here. It would be nice if they brought back like the original casting of Jack 1. I don't know if they do in this one though. Do they? Dude, I don't really remember. Yeah, Tara Strong. Warren Burton is Samus. Phil Lamar is Sig. MD for Tess. Okay. Yeah, they only had Torn for maybe like briefly in Jack 3, but not a lot. Tara Strong also voiced Seam. I think Seam is the monk, if I remember correctly. So she voiced Seam as well. Interesting. Oh, Brian Bloom. Chris Cox has voiced quite a bit of other different characters here. Crimson Guards, Male Citizens, Mike Hot Tub George again. I love that. I love these different nicknames. Mr. Happy, Dark Jedi, the Black Mamba. All these different. Is there any? Usually some games have them. Like any test babies or something like that? Or like the babies of the company? I think there should be, but I could be wrong with that. Usually they honor that at the end of the game. But I don't know if they'll have that in the credits. So far, that's been Jack 3, everyone. That was Jack 3 of this beautiful stream. I didn't think it was that we were going to get to the credits within 2 hours. But hey, here we are. We finished it. We see credits. I'm happy with credits. And then all it will take now is beating Cabela's, and we're nowhere near credits for N1. Because I think we were probably only 10% in the game. I didn't really do a whole lot of progress in that game because it is very loosely based on different areas within Cabela, within N1 Street Ball of like the different areas of like it's not states, it's more prominences that you're going to, I think, and having to do different types of one-on-one sometimes, but even then sometimes it's not like that. It can also be like you're against a team. I remember having that at one point in N1 but it was very difficult to even like get through for even a single match, let alone. So we'll see what happens for that game. But other than that, we finished, and I'm very pleased and happy to announce that we finished Jak 3 on the PlayStation 3. I'm gonna knock this one off the list. I might be able to do my review. At Sony Community Entertainment for their contribution, support, and dedication to Jak 3. Sony Computer Entertainment Europe. Producer, I don't know if they're babies or not. Not that it's anything important. It's just unique because sometimes games do that. Also dummy? Yeah, dude. Like, the future is crazy, man. Oh, Jak, you are our hero. You have to see the universe, Jak. But what about Dax? Oh, I'm the Otso leader. You will listen to me, Jak. You will go back to the past and end up being Ma, going through 3 individual games. Until, well, we don't talk about Jak and the Last Frontier. It's just him narrating the different games that Jak is going through in his adventures. Yeah, surfer, man. Yeah, I'm the Otso surfer, bruh. Because I don't get an A, man. You are once and future king. Otso Tess. Very brief. And we get like a scene or 2 of that, and then that's it. Assuming that we have a happily ever after with Daxter and Tess. Otso Vigor. Poor Vigor. I don't even know what he was envisioning to be like the next precursor or whatever it might be. But I don't think he was at all expecting to be an Otso. From what we seen. Okay, so now it's just recycling back to Jak now. The fuck? Okay. New secrets are now available. Love how it just spits us back here. 100%. We did it. Saving data. We did it, everyone. 100%. We beat the game. I'm happy. We got Jak 3. Excuse me. Defeated. Or defeated. we defeated Jak 3. We completed Jak 3. Good gracious, good sir. I cannot talk at all. I saved. We done our duty. That has been the Jak 3-ness. The Jakness. The Jakness, my dude. And I thank you, lovely person, viewer, whoever's still here, for enjoying the adventures with me of Crimmy Adventures. Streaming Jak 3. Completed. Done. And we'll move on to the next adventure. Until then, I'm out of here. Which one might be Duke of Ella's? I don't know. So, that's me. That's been me. Thank you. I appreciate you. As always, you stay awesome. Stay safe wherever you are. Whatever time zone, whatever state or region you're in. Love you. And you better, gosh darn it, sir, enjoy some nostalgia. Cool. That's all I got. I've been Crimmy. Bye.